last presentation. Let's do this. All right, my name is Rachel, and I am a Jew, and I am here tonight to talk to you about some of the questions that I get asked frequently as a Jew in a, make this a safe space. So, Oi Gewalt, we have a lot to get through, so let's do this. Before I start talking, my credentials. Here's a picture of me at my bat mitzvah in 1996. I became an adult in the eyes of the temple, and the next day, I went back to the 7th grade. Just look at it. Number one question I get asked as a Jew, do Jews believe in Jesus? And the short answer is yes, but not in the way that you think. What you're asking is, do Jews believe that Jesus is God, Lord and Savior, Son of God? And the answer to that is no. We believe that he existed, but we really think of him more as like this guy. He's a rabble-rouser, a change-maker. He definitely existed. He definitely was notable, but he's not God. He's not a part of our divine theology. The number two question is, how come Jewish holidays are always on a different day every year? Well, as you can see, this is the calendar that we all know and love in the Western world. So this is what we're used to working with. But Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar. So that means that every single month is exactly 28 days long. So it looks like that. So as you can tell, there'd be some real problems with misaligning like harvest festivals and things. So a few hundred years ago, I don't know how long, the scholars got together and decided to add a leap month. So every 7 months, there's something called Adar 2. Now, there's a month called Adar, and it's just called Adar 2. As for the name, I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to go home early that day. But it's just, that's what we have every 7 years. We have a leap month. Hanukkah is the Jewish Christmas, right? No, it is not. Hanukkah is actually kind of a second-tier holiday, more like your Arbor Day, I guess. But going back to that calendar I was just talking about, the celebration of Hanukkah falls right around Christmas time. So the dominant culture is Christianity. That filters into Jewish culture, and then we have presents and that delightful Adam Sandler song that we all know and love. So, what is kosher? I've got 4 slides, so let's do this. So, it's basically the dietary laws set out in the Old Testament and then developed over a couple of millennia by a bunch of scholars and rabbis. So it's about what you can and can't eat. And so it basically boils down to 3 main categories, all having to do with animals. 1, has to be ritually butchered. 2, you can't mix milk and meat. And 3, you can't eat any unclean animal, no matter how it's killed or prepared. So what does unclean animals mean? Well, a lot of people know that pigs aren't kosher, but also, did you know that frogs aren't kosher? Shellfish, fish without scales, birds of prey, scavengers, camels specifically are not kosher. And of course, anything mixed with dairy, any sort of meat mixed with dairy. So I didn't have a cheeseburger till I was like 12. Sub-question, why bother doing that? And as Tevye so eloquently reminded us in Fiddler on the Roof, it's about tradition. It's about connecting yourself to a heritage that stretches back years and years and years and years. And it also introduces mindfulness. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, Rachel, you're dropping a lot of hard J's. Is it okay for me to say Jew? People correct themselves, say, oh, I'm sorry, Jewish person. And let me tell you, you hear it right from me, it is A-okay for you to say the word Jew. But of course, tone does matter. So, do Jews do this? That's okay. Jews, not okay. Not okay, guys. So, where do you guys go when you die? Well, this is a tricky question because Jewish doctrine actually focuses more on the here and now and the life that we're living now. That being said, we do have like a sort of a heaven and a hell if you go, someplace you go when you've made some bad decisions, let's say. But instead of the Christian concept of eternity there, you spend about 12 months in hell. And then you're paroled to the good part of eternity. Unless you were really bad, and this is true, unless you were really bad, you stay there and think about what you did for the rest of your life, or rest of eternity. You're good with money, right? Now we're getting into some real stereotypical territory here, and I won't comment on that exactly, but I will say no Jews or anyone is always anything. But what I will say is that Jewish culture is really focused on education and excellence in academia. So logically, the more you study, questions. Well, you should ask a Jew. I and most other Jews are so proud of our heritage and our culture. I mean, if I weren't, why would I have put that hideous picture up there earlier in the presentation? Thank you.